What's good YouTube, Ben here, welcome to the next video on the channel. In this one, I'm going to give you my next Steel Path viable build on Warframe. This is going to be a rebuild for Laetum. Let's get into this. Right, before I go into the build itself, I do want to quickly mention that the previous video to this one in the Warframe series, which was Synergies, I used the wrong layout on screen so you could see me. I've stopped doing that because people asked me to not use my face cam, which is fine. But I want to point out I used the wrong layout during that video, so I do apologize. Anyway, going into the Laetum build, this is an evolution Incarnon weapon, meaning that you do get its Incarnon form to come with it, including with these boosts. So I'm going to go through each boost, and then I'll go through the build, and then as we're going into the mission, I'll explain as to why I've made certain choices. So, Evolution 1, which is just the standard Incarnon form, so of course you use weak point hits, so headshots, in order to trigger it. We've got Evolution 2, Rapid Wraith for 20% fire rate. We've got Evolution 3, Lethal Rearmament on headshot, plus 30% reload speed for 12 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. We've got Evolution 4, Elemental Excess, plus 20% status chance, negative 10% critical chance. And we've got Evolution 5, Devouring Attrition, 50% chance to deal plus 2,000 damage. 2,000% damage on non-critical hits. Now, I am running a mixed critical status build, but the reason why I've still got this one on is purely for those hits that are non-crits. Because if those hits are non-crits, they're going to do weak damage anyway, but this gives them a boost in an attempt to try and make them stronger anyway, if that makes sense. Anyway, going into the build itself, you'll understand where I'm getting at. So we've got Prime Pistol Gambit for 187% critical chance, Prime Target Cracker for 110% critical damage, Galvanized Diffusion for 110% multi-shot and on-kill plus 30% multi-shot for 20 seconds stacks up to 4 times, Galvanized Shot for 80% status chance and on-kill plus 40% direct damage per status type effect in the target for 14 seconds stacks up to 3 times. We've got Galvanized Crosshairs for on headshot plus 120% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds, on headshot kill plus 40% critical chance when aiming for 12 seconds stacks up to 5 times, Pistol Pestilence for 60% toxin and 60% status chance, Frostbite for 60% cold and 60% status chance, and Scorch for 60% heat and 60% status chance, along with Cascadia Flare in the Arcanes slot, so it's rank 5 on heat status effect, plus 12% damage for 10 seconds, stacks up to 480%, so when this is at its max, it does more damage than Secondary Merciless, which is very nice. But naturally we're running a 53.1% critical chance multiplier, which is increased with Galvanized Crosshairs, but like I said with the evolution thing earlier on, that's only going to target the non-crits, but those non-crits are going to do no damage anyway, so I might as well give them more of a chance to hit more. We've got a 4.6 times critical multiplier, along with 99.2% status chance, so we're pretty much always proccing status, which is very nice. Of course, we're running Heat and Viral. Viral to help cut through health, Heat to help cut through armor, and then, of course, you've got the Radial attacks, which do radiation damage on top as well, which works towards Galvanized Shot. But let's jump into the mission. I'll show you what this thing can do. So, as per usual, we're here at Oxsmoker in the Void, and I'll quickly explain why we're here. So the Void is one of the latest game areas in the game, so you're dealing with the Corrupted, and with the Corrupted, you're dealing with enemies with just health, enemies with health and shields, and enemies with high armor. Give you a more varied example of what your weapon slash Warframe can do. But let's jump into this. So, you want to obviously keep aiming as much as possible to boost your critical hit chances. And then, of course, you want to aim for headshots so you can activate Laetum's Incarnon form. The moment you do that, that's it. You pretty much start beasting over everything in there. So, we're just going to go ahead and absolutely melt through everything in our path. Laetum's one of those weapons that is just ridiculously strong. It is so powerful. To be fair, like, there isn't really a bad Incarnon form at all. Like, all of them are decent to a level. It's ridiculous. But I'm currently going back through a lot of my builds and then making rebuilds for a lot of them because I've got new ways of building them, which is nice. But using my own testing as a standpoint, this is how I build my builds. But as you can see, we are having no issues ripping through pretty much everything. Like, a couple of shots and even, like, heavily or more heavily armored units get melted, which is insane. Eximus, as it rips through, like, it just eats through everything. But thanks to its minor radials, those radials are going to deal extra status damage included, which is nice. But they also get hit by every status, not just the radiation, which is cool, meaning that if you hit it with heat and viral, it's basically going to be gone just as quick as if you would have hit a direct hit anyway, purely because of how quickly viral and heat cut through enemies. They're such a fantastic combo. I mean, don't get me wrong, the armor stripping of heat is not as good as it is with corrosion. Corrosion is better for it. But the mix of being able to cut through health and shields with viral heat is just such a good combo that it's too good to pass up. But as you can see, we literally cut through. There's not much this weapon can't really take out, to be fair. Because even in its standard form, if I get a couple of headshots, that's it, it's gone. And now I'm back to Incarnon form again. Oh, I do want to point out as well, so my Atlas Prime has Archon shards on it. But if you... Did I redo my build for Atlas? I think I did when Landslide Fist Prime became an exalted weapon. Because his Archon shards, one of them's to give him energy at the start of the mission. The other ones are for melee critical damage exclusively. So he's not being given a boost by that for the weapon. So don't want any comments, you know, telling me that this is not a true build because of that. The thing is, I like to keep my builds as raw power as I can. Because from my point of view, right, you could go for an optimal build, and don't get me wrong, like with my last video, Skiajati, if I wanted to go fully optimal with it, I'd have gone with a Warframe like Calervo, Atlas Prime, who has, my build is to boost melees, or with Excalibur Umbra, who the weapon actually belongs to, because of, again, using melee-centric frames. But I didn't want to do that, because for me, I don't use builds like that a lot of the time, unless I'm going into, like, you know, to do something very specific. Like, if I'm going into a boss battle, then sure, I guess. But even then, like, I like to just use whatever weapon, whatever frame, for whatever mood I'm in. So for me, I like to make more general builds that can work with any frame, as opposed to just being better. But don't get me wrong, there are definitely weapons that work better with certain warframes because of how those weapons work, or because of how they integrate with said warframes. This is the thing. Like, a lot of the builds I do also will not get you to level cap for that reason. But what they will do is allow you to use pretty much any weapon with pretty much any warframe that you want to use it with. The Acolyte's also coming in very quick today, which is very nice. Because I've literally not long just... Oh, is that? Nice, I'll take that. Right, let's have a look. Boom. Bye. Yeah, the Acolyte stands no chance. Eximus units don't stand a chance. Nothing stands a chance in the wake of this weapon. But yeah, let me know what you think about the build in the comments down below. Don't forget you can also support the channel completely for free just by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget you can also support the channel even further by becoming a channel member from as little as 99 pence per month. And don't forget I do live stream. When I go live here on YouTube and on Twitch and on TikTok all at the same time. My streams here on YouTube are in the shorts form feeds, more for mobile. If you want to catch the exact same streams at the exact same time in full 1080p, feel free to join me on Twitch or on TikTok. Those links are in the description below.